Hey, beautiful souls. Welcome to this very special episode, our season 4 finale. Today, we're doing something different. Instead of a guest interview, this is just you and me reflecting together on the year 2025 that just came to a close. So pour yourself something warm, get comfortable, and let's explore this together. So, what I'd like to do is to go through some questions and give you some reflective questions to be able to journal while I am preparing for season 5. So, this isn't about cataloging achievements or beating yourself up for what didn't happen. This is about honest reflection, the kind that honors where you've been while making space for where you're going. So before we dive into these questions, I want to invite you into something. So the first question we have is question 1. What made you pause and say, I did that? This year, what moments made you stop and actually recognize yourself? Not the big wins that everyone celebrated, although those count too, but the quieter victories, the times you chose differently, the moments you honored yourself instead of performing for others. What are you claiming as yours this year? So, this year for myself, I did a couple little things and say that I did that. One of them was that I started I went back actually not started, but I went back to hot yoga at the end of July. And it has really made a difference with my flexibility. It's improved my meditation practice. And so I am generally proud of myself when I think about this year and what I did do. So, your turn. Now take a moment and name 2 to 3 things that make you genuinely proud when you think about this year. Not what should have made you proud, but what actually does. And if you need to pause this as you go through the questions, feel free because this is all about you and your own reflection. The second question is, what did you begin that changed something? What did you start this year that shifted something in you? Maybe it was a new practice, a boundary you've never set before, a conversation you finally had, or a belief you decided to question. What beginnings mattered, not because it was perfect, but because it was true. So I think about this and I think about like the series that we've had. What did I begin that my younger self needed me to begin? And what I have really changed with my belief is that my requirement, not a must have, in having a specific amount of sleep. And I have chronic fatigue syndrome. And so my sleep is super, super important for my healing of my body. So I'm really proud that I was able to begin not trying, but doing the balance between rest and activity. And so that's what I started this year. And I'm really quite proud of it. So, question 3. What did you finally put down? This one's about what you stopped doing, believing, tolerating, or carrying. What did you finally give yourself permission to release? Maybe it was a habit, a relationship pattern, an old story about yourself, or the need to prove something to someone. What did you stop that created more space for who you're becoming? So, what was surprising to me about this question is there were a couple people who were in my closer circle, and I had to put them at a distance because they were requiring more energy than I was able to provide. And it would take me days after a simple conversation to recover. And so, in putting myself first, which I'm always encouraging everybody to do, is I push those relationships out a bit farther. So I'm just not talking to them hardly at all. So that's what I was finally put down. Put some boundaries in. So question 4: where are you still hungry? Where did this year leave you wanting more? Not from a place of lack, but from a place of, I tested this and I want to go deeper. It could be more presence, more honest conversations, more creative expression, more stillness, more of you showing up fully. So, what are you craving more of as you move forward? And remember, wanting more doesn't mean you're ungrateful for what is. It means you're alive and still growing. This year, I went on a lot of short trips where I was able to see my family, my son, my closest friends that have been with me for, 20 plus years. And I still want more. I want more time where we can create new memories. So, question 5: what are you ready to simplify? What are you ready to have less of in your life? Less performing, less busyness, masquerading as productivity, less relationships that drain you, less of saying yes when you mean no. What would create more spaciousness if you had less of it? So, when I think about what have I simplified, it does go back to saying no. When my partner and I go and see live blues music, and sometimes I'm just too tired as much as my brain would like to go and listen to the music, and so I have been saying no when I really need to rest, and I am in a relationship where I'm able to do that, but it was a really big thing in my mind, and so I was ready to simplify that. So sometimes less is actually the most radical form of more. So, question 6, our final question. If you could whisper one thing to yourself at the start of this year, so here's the thing about wishes, they often carry regret or disappointment. So instead, let's reframe this. If you could go back to January 2025 and whisper one thing to yourself, knowing everything you know now, what would it be? Not to change what happened, but to com- companion yourself it different. What wisdom would you offer yourself? Hmm. I'm going to keep this one to myself because I really want to hear yours. So these questions aren't meant to be answered once and then filed away. They're invitations to keep reflecting, keep noticing, keep honoring your journey. And as we close out season 4 and begin January 2021, I want to thank you for being here, for showing up for these conversations, for doing your own inner work, for being brave enough to ask, is this all there is? And courageous enough to seek your own answers. Your worth isn't in what you've achieved this year or last year in 2025 or previous years behind that, what you let go of or what you're still reaching for. Your worth has always been there, waiting for you to remember. I'm going to repeat that. Your worth has always been there, waiting for you to remember. And that's the work we keep doing together, one honest question at a time. So, this is our final episode of season 4, and what a journey it's been. Light Up Your Worth will be returning at the end of February 2026. And I'm already so excited about what we're creating for you. We're designing the next round of guest interviews, and here's what really lights me up. We're going to go even deeper into this work of finding fulfillment within the success you've already built. In the meantime, there are 196 episodes waiting for you. Maybe there's one you've been meaning to revisit, or a conversation you missed that's calling to you now. Trust that instinct. Go back and listen to what you need to hear. Of course, you can also do their reflective questions. So, from my heart to yours, thank you. Thank you for trusting me with your time, your attention, and your journey. Thank you for being part of this community of women who are brave enough to want more than just success, who want wholeness, who want to be authentic, who want to come home to themselves. Sending love and sunshine